Of course, it is your boy B New. I'm coming at you straight live after the game tonight. Of course, we all know that the Los Angeles Lakers fell to the Memphis Grizzlies in game two tonight, downtown Memphis at Beale Street, in a very disappointing loss for the Los Angeles Lakers and a surprising loss for many people because, of course, we know that the Memphis Grizzlies were without Ja Morant. And with them being without Ja Morant, we thought that the Lakers could cruise to a easy victory, but it was simply not the case for the Lakers. And there's a lot of things tonight that did not go right for the Los Angeles Lakers. And of course, one of those main things being that you can really focus on, in my opinion, is that of the play of Anthony Davis. And we knew going into the playoffs, a lot of things were said about Anthony Davis and his ability to bring the tenacity on the offensive side of the basket night in and night out. We know that he shows up and is going to be an anchor for that Lakers defense and always be available to block shots and come on the weak side and help and do all those sorts of things. But where the doubt came in was, could Anthony Davis, for every game in the playoffs, sustain an offensive performance in which he could always put pressure on the other team's defense? And tonight simply was not one of those nights for Anthony Davis, because if you look at the statistics, you can see that AD only had 13 points. He did have 9 boards, but he was 4 out of 14 for 28%. And if you really think about it, I want to say in the last minute, when it was really garbage time, so to speak, for the Los Angeles Lakers, AD hit a three-pointer, which that three-pointer really didn't mean anything. So if you really take away that 3, instead of being 4 out of 14, he was really 3 out of 13 for like 25%, and that is not going to cut it. And guess what? We have to give credit to the Memphis Grizzlies and the adjustments that they made, the way that they were coming on Anthony Davis as far as their defense was concerned. And one thing about Anthony Davis, I wish he wouldn't play into the hands of the defense, because what he is doing is, instead of actually playing his game and fronting the defenders, he is backing them down. And when Memphis was getting them in switches and he would have somebody, let's say a Dillon Brooks on him, all he had to do was face up and shoot over them. Instead, he is backing them down, which is allowing other players to actually play stronger against him, because, you know, they're smaller and they could move the chair, so to speak, and cause Anthony Davis to fall. For one, there's a lot of different things they can do with smaller defenders. They're going to get the benefit of the doubt when there's contact created. So what Anthony Davis needs to do in these cases is shoot over the smaller defenders in a switch, but he was simply not being aggressive. Basically, Anthony Davis just sat up there and didn't let the game come to him. Instead of letting the game come to him, he just basically tried to force a lot of things and took some ill-advised shots. And really, a lot of those shots just simply were not going down for him. And we're not just going to look at Anthony Davis, because there, to me, is plenty of blame to go around for the loss that the Los Angeles Lakers took tonight. If you look at the overall score, I think the overall score was 103-93. So if you would have said before the game that the Los Angeles Lakers would have held the Memphis Grizzlies to 103 points, then I would have said, hey, that is very good as far as their defense. But the Lakers came out and laid an egg on offense. But at the end of the day, you still have to give credit to that Memphis Grizzlies defense, because they made the proper adjustments. And then you had a player like an Xavier Tillman, who is out here, who basically outplayed Anthony Davis, had a career high on the floor against Anthony Davis. And, you know, just to be honest, Anthony Davis really should have took advantage of this sort of mismatch. I know that at times Anthony Davis was guarding Jarrett Jackson Jr., who he really held. Jarrett Jackson Jr., you didn't even hear a lot from him this game. But the Memphis Grizzlies, what they did was they did it by numbers. So many of their players actually, you know, spread the ball around. But what the Lakers have to do is swing the ball more effectively. They were heavy doubling on Anthony Davis very quickly, trying to get the ball out of his hands, but the ball was not swinging quick enough. You even had some examples where the Lakers were getting 24-second violations, and the Lakers cannot afford to come out and be comfortable. And I think that's what they did tonight. They were kind of comfortable. They said, you know what? We already came and stole a game here, so we still have home court advantage. So we get 2 more games at home. And speaking of which, I don't know if you all realize this, but this is going to be the first Lakers home game in front of a crowd in a while. Because if you look back to the bubble, the Lakers really didn't have a chance to play in front of the crowd when they won the championship. And then the following year, of course, we all know what happened when, of course, Anthony Davis went down, and, you know, the Lakers really didn't have an opportunity to play in front of that home crowd. So at the end of the day, we know that the Los Angeles Lakers crowd is going to be amped up for Game 3. Who we got here? GM City. GM City says, something told me they were going to come out lackluster, feeling themselves after that Game 1 dub. Hey, I feel you on that. The Lakers are a team, to me, that are known to let their foot off the gas. And, you know, I'm not going to sit here and lie to you. Your boy put down some money on the Lakers, especially once I heard Ja Morant was out. I said, man, hey, I didn't bet the whole house on it, but you know what I'm saying? I lost more than what I really wanted to. But at the end of the day, the Lakers, they will take their foot off the gas, and they are a better team when their back is against the wall. You can look at the Minnesota play-in game. They came out lackluster, and what happened? What happened? They eventually came back and won the game because as there was waning times in the game, they pushed harder to actually get themselves back into the game, and they simply couldn't afford to do that tonight against the Memphis Grizzlies. You have to think they still had a chance to win the game, cutting it down to 6 points at the 3 or 4 minute mark. They cut it down to 6 points with an opportunity to still win the game when a lot of things wasn't going their way. And to me, another thing that really makes me wonder about why did Dennis Schroeder only have 15 minutes? To me, that is perplexing, especially when you have D'Lo. And I don't want to say this about D'Lo because, of course, if you follow this channel, you know every day we've had discussions on D'Angelo Russell, what the Lakers' decision is going to be in the offseason, if they can even retain the services of a D'Angelo Russell, because he is an unrestricted free agent, unlike Austin Reeves, who is restricted, and the Lakers could match an offer sheet. D'Lo is on the open market. How much are they willing to pay him? How much is he even worth? Because at this point, you know, I see Dennis Schroeder come in the game. For one, he is a lot better defender than D'Angelo Russell. So for that reason alone, I don't understand why Dennis Schroeder didn't get more minutes in the game, because Dennis Schroeder's on-ball pressure and full court pressure is exactly, oh, we got a breaking news. The Wolves are storming back, erasing a 15-point halftime deficit to come very close to upsetting the Denver Nuggets. So we'll keep you posted on that as that news trickles in. But back to the Lakers game, I just don't understand why Dennis Schroeder, and it's not like Dennis Schroeder was out there lighting it up, don't get me wrong. Dennis Schroeder wasn't out there. I mean, tonight, he had 15 minutes, he had 0 points, he was 0 from 3 from the field, but he only had 3 opportunities. So if you only have 3 shots, that is not a whole lot of opportunity to get yourself going. And if you only play 15 minutes, that is not a lot of chance to get yourself going. Now, if you really think about this, you have to, one thing that you have to know is, I don't know why, hold on, what is this? I don't know why AD plays like he's too good, man. I don't understand why AD does that too. He did not bring the noise. Instead, he just came out lackluster with another performance. Like I said, Anthony Davis, 13 points, 4 out of 14, 28%. And at the end of the day, he had a late 3, and that late 3 really was probably something that shouldn't even count it on his statistics, because there wasn't a whole lot that he was able to do. But, you know, at the end of the day, man, you know, the Lakers, they're going to have to come out and perform a whole lot better than what they did. They still have an opportunity to go back to Los Angeles. You heard Brooks calling LeBron old. Yes, I did hear that. I was actually going to get to that here pretty soon. I heard Dillon Brooks calling LeBron James old. And one thing I know about this is, you know, Dillon Brooks has said that He, said he's not going to respect anybody. He said he is going to continue to poke the bear. He said he is going to poke the bear until somebody can come and get 40 on him. But nobody, has yet to do that on Dillon Brooks, because I have to give it up for Dillon Brooks for actually being a formidable opponent as far as his defensive prowess. Now, we all know that LeBron James has had battles before with Dillon Brooks. LeBron James hit him with the too little twice in games that he has played. But at the end of the day, he has to keep pushing through. And, I just feel like, hold on, what we got here. I love this, though. LeBron always responds. Yep, LeBron James does respond, and he has responded. I know there was at one point in the game where LeBron James did not respond when Dillon Brooks was looking LeBron in the eye, and LeBron James did not give him that same energy. And even though LeBron James had went on a little 4-0 spurt of his own on Dillon Brooks and kind of got the jawing back and forth with him, I don't necessarily think that is LeBron James's game, and that's what he's all about. Now, he will talk if you start to be disrespectful, and we've seen that happen before against this team, and LeBron James has a very long memory. So, he's had words for Desmond Baines. He's had words for Dillon Brooks. One thing we know about the Memphis Grizzlies is they are not going to back down, and sometimes you don't want to give a team hope. And I think what the Lakers were doing was giving the team some hope, and I don't know why they continue to do that. But, they came out in the first quarter and kind of laid an egg. They sat up there and had, 5 turnovers in the first quarter. And a lot of those turnovers were unforced turnovers. So I'm really trying to figure out what was going on and why they weren't having the attention to detail that they should have had. You had Austin Reeves turning the ball over. I think LeBron James only had 1 turnover this game. But if you look at it, LeBron James he was a -17 on the floor, which overall, of course, is a terrible number for him to be at. Then you had everybody pretty much except for Vanderbilt, I think, in the starting lineup was a minus. You got to give props to Vanderbilt, because at one point, what's this? Exactly. So, it's not time to be down and out, because if you really think about it, all the Lakers really want to do, and this is a way to rationalize it, you want to come in and win 1 game on the road. If you can come in and win a game on the road, then, that's what you set out to do. You stole home court advantage. Now you're going back to Los Angeles with home court. So that is something that they set out to do. But it would have been nice if LeBron James, one of the themes has been in the locker room to, now it's not time to settle. Now it's time to be greedy. But instead of being greedy, they settled, and they did not come to me win. I don't know if the little shot to AD's eye, you had 2 jump balls that was kind of petty and bogus. I don't even know why you set it up to jump it again, but AD got the stitch in his eye, and I don't know if that caused him to play a little bit weaker. But, he said it didn't bother him after the game. But I want to kind of get back to what I was saying before. I don't know if I'm sure y'all probably heard that, but my daughter got a cat. And the cat is sitting up here really bothering me, y'all. So for me to maintain and focus and do everything that I was doing, you see what Dillon Brooks said after the game? Yeah, I seen what Dillon Brooks said after the game, man. Dillon Brooks, you know what? I'm not going to lie to y'all. I'm a fan of Dillon Brooks. So, I think Dillon Brooks got it going on the defensive side of the floor. I think he brings tenacity to the game. I said a long time ago when I first saw Dillon Brooks play, of course, I am a avid follower of the Memphis Grizzlies anyway, and I have been watching this game for quite some time, and I always called him the light-skinned version of Tony Allen, because he always is the one to sit up here and bring it on defense. And for him to not be one to back down from LeBron James, it's not many people in the league who would go poking LeBron James and getting him started. But like he said, I'm not afraid of him. He owed. I kind of feel him on that. LeBron James is 38 years old at this point in his career. For him to still keep doing what he is doing is still amazing. But at the end of the day, I was even watching the game, and as I watched the game, I was like, if this was 28-year-old LeBron James instead of 38-year-old LeBron James, this game would have been taken over a long time ago. But he does have to conserve a lot of energy. I'm telling y'all what, I can go out there and play a game of 21 with my son, and I probably won't be able to play in another week or 2. You understand me? Just because your knees not the same, your back not the same, none of your body is the same. You do not react and recover the same way. So at the end of the day, no excuses for LeBron James, but he has been able to bounced back before, and I think this next game is going to be very pivotal going into the series. Of course, I don't know what the percentage is. We'll have it for tomorrow's show, of course, but you know, whoever wins that game 3 when the series is tied 1-1 usually goes on to win the series. So the Lakers got 2 games back at home. I think it's going to be very important for the Lakers to go out and do what they need to do in order to take care of business. And usually role players always play better at home. So for Austin Reeves, who is still a role player in my opinion, and not yet a star, to play as well as he played, let me see. I can tell by how a game go, we will be dependent on how LeBron energy is when the game starts, the engine, and if he looks locked in. That's true. Sometimes you've seen before in the history where LeBron James, you can see it in his eyes and he coming out and he's ready to play. And in both of these games, I think he's been a little passive coming out. So I'm not sure what the deal is with that. I hear, and I don't know if this is true, but I hear he's been taking his shoe off during breaks. And I don't know if that foot could still be something that's bothering him. But, we're not here to make excuses. Everybody banged up this time of year. The Lakers just need to go out and take care of business. I'm wondering about Troy Brown. I'm wondering, he's not really contributed much the past 2 games of the series. You wonder if Lonnie Walker might get a little bit of action, especially when they went down by 20-something. But what you got to realize in games like this is when you go down by 20-something points and you come back, you exert so much energy just to come back. It's too hard for you to win the game. And ultimately, I knew the Lakers could come back, but I just started wondering, especially with if you were at home and you go down like that and come back, you get the energy of the crowd. But hey, when you don't have the energy of the crowd, then that's a whole different story. Yeah, and I would say the shooters are looking bad. And if you're talking about shooters looking bad, look no further than D'Angelo Russell. D'Angelo Russell, only 5 points tonight, only 4 assists, 2 out of 11. If you do the math on that, that's 18%, only 1 out of 5 from 3, and he had some pretty good looks from 3. Hachimura still showed up. He didn't give you the 29 he gave you in game 1, but Hachimura still showed up with 20 points and did his thing. D'Lo, that's unacceptable. He say he got ice water in his veins, but that's totally unacceptable. I don't know if he's nervous from the auditioning, but he did say something very interesting in the press conference. And I'm going to cover that in tomorrow's show because your boy do have to get up early, y'all. I appreciate those of you who hung with me. But on tomorrow's show, I want to tell y'all something. D'Angelo Russell said something what I found to be very interesting. And I'll give you a little snippet of it now, and you can probably go back and look at it yourselves. But D'Angelo Russell, the reporters were kind of pressing him in the locker room, and they were saying what you can do to get better, blah, blah, blah. But they were saying point guard. And he was like, hold on. This is a team effort. This is a team effort. Don't blame it all on the point guard. And then what he said was, it's not about a point guard. He said there is no point guard of the team because this team is constructed differently. So I guess what he was trying to say is, can he really play his true role with LeBron James being on the team, with LeBron James being so much of a dominant player? But at the end of the day, LeBron James still has to go out and do what he has to do. Okay. All right. For everybody, like I said, those who stick with me, y'all know I'm still new to trying to do this live stream, so I appreciate everybody who hung in with me. But, of course, we'll be tomorrow for the full breakdown analysis of tonight's game. And if anybody got breaking news right now, put it down in the comments who winning on the Denver game. I think I'm probably going to go ahead and watch the end of that game. But, yeah, if D'Lo doesn't perform, I don't know if they should necessarily go after Kyrie. Myself, appreciate that, Mike L, man. I really do. Thank you so much for the support. But I really don't think the Lakers should go in all after Kyrie if he wants a Russell Westbrook type contract of $40 million plus, because when the Lakers pay a big 3 and spend all that money, it doesn't leave a lot of room for role players. The Lakers need to retain the services of Austin Reeves. I feel like Dennis Schroeder could be a starting point guard for this team, just depending on who else you could get. If D'Lo is willing to take some sort of pay cut, then that's fine. Just depending on what the Lakers can do to retain him. But that's something we definitely talk about in the offseason. But maybe, D'Lo hasn't had a history of performing well in the playoffs. We know he didn't perform well in the playoffs for Minnesota last year, particularly well against this Memphis team. And now you have him again with a second shot. Kyrie is a killer and it's worth it. You might think that, but what did Kyrie do with the Dallas Mavericks this year? You know, they had an opportunity to make it, and I understand they sort of tanked in a way. But at the end of the day, you know, Kyrie is getting a little bit longer in the tooth. And I know you can count on him to make big shots, but he's not necessarily good on defense. Kyrie Irving doesn't play that side of the floor very well. He's getting a little bit longer in the tooth. He can make some big shots, but can you count on him to stay healthy, for one? Can you count on him to be there, for two? Because you never know with Kyrie Irving, he could be out of the game, you know, for various different reasons. Who knows? I think he could be a good fit in LA. If you can get him at a decent price, I say get him. But if he's looking for a max contract, which I'm assuming that he is, I think it would be a huge mistake. The Lakers just went through that whole Westbrook debacle, and it was the same thing, although I believe in Kyrie a whole lot more than what I believe in Russell Westbrook. But anyway, back to what I was saying as far as this game is concerned, you know, I think the Lakers, I don't want to, trust me, I do not want to take credit away from the Memphis Grizzlies, who played an excellent defensive game, played excellent on AD as far as doubling down on him, forcing the ball out of his hands, fronting him, not letting him get to his spots and ever get comfortable. And it's like I keep saying, AD should continue to play fronting the players instead of trying to back up players, especially when they get traded off, you know, on screens. And then, you know, they get switches and he gets a smaller man on him. Just shoot over the smaller man. Stop trying to back up. You know, AD, I have a feeling, AD, one of the quotes he said after the game in the press conference, if you all saw it, was he wished we could play tomorrow because he is that much ready to play. Even though they're going to have a couple of days off, they need it. But one thing I do want to point out, this is probably the most rested you're going to see the Lakers for a while. They need to go out and kind of put this series away because they'll get a couple of days off this game. But once Saturday, it's going to be every other day from that. So they'll play Saturday, then Monday, then Wednesday, and then, of course, Friday if necessary. But I'm not thinking it's going to be necessary. I know I have a lot of faith that the Lakers are going to go back home, take care of business in front of that home crowd who has been dying for a home playoff game that they haven't had in a couple of years now. And we know during that bubble championship that the home crowd never got a chance and an opportunity to really have a crowd. And I want to say, correct me if I'm wrong, put it in the comments when the series when Anthony Davis got hurt and the Lakers lost in the first round. I know COVID was just over and they were having blended crowds, but I don't think they officially, I think in some cities they were allowing spread out crowds, but I don't think Los Angeles was one of those yet. So they may not have had a crowd yet. Correct me if I'm wrong, but LeBron said that in the post-game pressure, and I was thinking, well, no, is that necessarily the case? Because I was thinking 2022 they did, but I'm not sure. I don't know off the top of my head, but we could talk about that on tomorrow's show as well. Tyus Jones performed excellent. I'm starting to think that the Grizzlies play a lot better with Tyus Jones as point guard because, like LeBron James keeps alluding to, Tyus Jones has had the highest assist-to-turnover ratio in the game. Justin Guyton, AD, shaking my damn head. Yes, AD got to step it up once again. 13 points, 4 out of 14. That's not championship material, you know, and a lot of people saying Anthony Davis could be a finals MVP playing like that. I don't think so. Somebody's going to have to step up. LeBron James had 28 tonight. He shot 50% from the field. One thing I do want to point out that I didn't like about LeBron James is LeBron James tonight shot 1 out of 8 from 3, and I really don't think he really needed to be shooting a whole lot of three-pointers because to me, that did not make a lot of sense for him to be settling. And you have to give credit to that Dillon Brooks for playing excellent defense on LeBron James and making him settle because he wasn't really working for it because LeBron James really was having to work for shots. And not only was Dillon Brooks playing excellent defense, the Memphis Grizzlies, if you notice, and the Lakers going to watch it on film, and LeBron James is going to dissect this film, but if you really notice what they were doing was they weren't hard doubling LeBron. See, they hard double AD. As soon as he get the ball, boom, boom, they coming, and the Lakers weren't swinging the ball. But when LeBron James come, they let Dillon Brooks play good defense on him up until LeBron James decided what kind of move he is going to make, and then they bring the double, which forces LeBron James to make a late decision. But, you know, at the end of the day, it is what it is. The Lakers just have to force through and keep doing what they're doing. I just feel like that I said before the series, Lakers in 6. I'm going to stand by that. Lakers in 6. Hopefully, John Morant's hand has healed within that week to play at least in game 3. They might hold him out one more game because they probably feel now that they won a game, even if they go down 2-1, then by the following game, he could come back and at least have an opportunity to be effective. So at the end of the day, man, we hate that the Los Angeles Lakers went down tonight, but it is what it is. But I appreciate everybody joining me. It's much love. And as always, this has been your boy B New. I'm saying right on to the real, and much love to the haters. If you haven't done so already, you know what to do. Hit that like, hit that share, hit that subscribe, and join me every day as we continue to talk about the playoffs. Join me every day as we continue to talk about the Los Angeles Lakers and dissecting this series. And peace and much love. I'm out.